Thank you, Arun. Honorable Minister for External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of State, Shri Muralidharan, Additional Secretary, PSP and Chief Passport Officer, Shri Chatterjee, Regional Passport Officers, dear friends. I'm delighted to welcome you to this celebration of the Passport Seva Diwas to mark the enactment of the Passport Act of 24th of June 1967. We have postponed the annual Passport Officers Conference, which is usually organized at this time every year. We hope to host the conference at a later date once the situation improves. Today, we look forward to the guidance of the Honorable Ministers on how to continuously improve our systems of delivering passports and passport-related services in a timely, transparent, and technology-driven manner, to be people-centric in our public services, and to achieve even higher standards. Sir, I wish to place on record at the outset that our colleagues in the 36 regional and passport offices across the country have been on duty providing emergency services to our citizens ever since the end of Lockdown 1. We opened our Passport Seva Kendras gradually, and sometimes we even had to close them in accordance with the local regulations, while observing social distancing and other norms. As many as 91 of the 93 Passport Seva Kendras had been opened. Today, 88 of them are in operation, as 3 had to suspend operations earlier this week. I wish to recognize and congratulate all the members of the Central Passport Organization and the team from Tata Consultancy Services that man these PSKs for being the Corona warriors in selfless public service. Colleagues, we have seen a continuous growth in the demand for passports in the last few years. While we received more than 1.3 crore passport applications in India and abroad in 2019, our passport issuing authorities have issued more than 1.22 crore passports during the period. Following the outbreak of COVID-19, there has been a decline in the demand for passports. However, we are confident that the demand will bounce back. India is now the third largest passport issuing country in the world. The Passport Seva program, now a decade old, has brought about a paradigm shift in the way in which we deliver passports and its related services to our citizens. Partnering with Tata Consultancy Services and the Department of Post, we have spread ourselves across the length and breadth of the country, reaching her remotest corners with 93 Passport Seva Kendras and 424 Post Office Passport Seva Kendras, a total of 517. Further, we have also integrated 70 of our missions and posts abroad, which account for more than 95% of the passports issued abroad with the Passport Seva program. Sir, we have leveraged technology to improve the convenience and comfort levels of applicants and reduced time taken in delivery of passports and its related services. The M-Passport Seva mobile app and Apply from Anywhere scheme facilitates 24/7 facility for submission of passport applications. This M-Passport police mobile app also facilitates timely verification process. Continued improvements in the Passport Seva program have not only won the trust of the people, but have also received several professional awards for its performance. It is thus of some satisfaction that our passport services are one of the most admired and customer-friendly statutory citizen-centric services rendered by the Government of India. But sir, we wish to do even better. I must commend the personnel of the CPO, the PSP division, the TCS, and the Department of Posts for their outstanding contributions in this effort. We are thankful to the state police authorities for bringing down the average time taken for police verification, which is necessary before issuing a passport. The India Security Press, Nashik, for the safety features that they have introduced in our passport booklets, and for the preparations they are undertaking for the rollout of e-passports, and our NIC team in MEA for its continued support. Finally, I also extend my warmest congratulations to all the winners of the Passport Seva Puraskars 2020 and wish you all great success. Once again, welcome to Passport Seva Diwas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I thank Secretary CPV and OIF for his welcome remarks. Now I have the honor to request Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs to address us. Sir.
Honorable External Affairs Minister of India, Dr. Jaishankar ji, Secretary CPV and OIA, Shri Sanjay Bhattacharya ji, Additional Secretary Shri Arun Chatterjee ji, passport officers who have joined in the virtual mode, Namaskaram, good afternoon to all of you. It's my privilege to join you all today on the occasion of Passport Seva Diwas. My greetings and best wishes to all of you on this occasion. As mentioned by Secretary CPV, we expect to organize the traditional Passport Officers Conference in the future. Colleagues, in the last 6 years of our government, the Ministry of External Affairs has taken several important steps in improving the passport delivery systems in the country under the dynamic leadership of our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. And under the able guidance of External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar ji, the Passport Seva program has continued to take rapid strides and has become one of the largest and most acclaimed mission mode projects under the National E-Governance Plan of our government. We will continue to serve the people following their guiding principles in delivering passports and passport-related services to the citizens of our country. The issuance of passports is one of the most successful citizen-centric activities of the Ministry of External Affairs. With globalization as well as improved living standards in the country, the number of Indian citizens traveling abroad for tourism, business, conferences, jobs and education has increased rapidly. As a result, over the years, we have seen a growth in the demand for passports. It's heartening that we issued more than 1 crore passports last year. I congratulate the collective efforts of all of you for the success story of the passport issuance system today. Without the dedication and support of the officials of the Central Passport Organization, it would not have been possible for the Ministry to deliver passport services in a seamless manner. In order to take passport services to the doorsteps of the citizens of our country, we have partnered with the Department of Posts to set up post office passport seva kendras in the country. We are grateful to the Department of Posts who have worked with us in this unique endeavor in setting up 424 post office passport seva kendras in the country. I had the privilege of inaugurating a post office passport seva kendra at Nenmara in my home state Kerala in October last year. This effort of our government has been appreciated by the citizens of our country. Together with the 93 passport seva kendras, we now have 517 passport kendras in the country. We would be continuing with the program of opening more post office passport seva kendras in future. As a result of this outreach, the waiting time for getting an appointment has come down. We have also made considerable progress in integrating the passport issuing systems of our missions and posts abroad into the Passport Seva project to help our diaspora abroad. Colleagues, we have put in place a robust grievance redressal mechanism, effectively using social media to connect with our citizens and further improving the delivery of our services. All passport officers are now receiving public grievances directly through the latest versions of the CP Grams of the Ministry of Personnel, Public Grievances and Pensions. I would like to re-emphasize the need to redress public grievances speedily. Our passport issuing authorities must take steps for the resolution of all complaints received from the public in a time-bound manner. Our endeavor should be to further simplify rules and regulations for issue of passports. We must make the process simpler, and optimize the requirement of documents for getting a passport. I am happy to know that with the concerted efforts of the ministry and the state police authorities, the time taken for police verification has come down steadily to 16 days, resulting in faster issue of passports. This has become possible by the many initiatives that have been taken by the state police authorities, especially those of Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Haryana and Kerala. I would urge all the passport officers to take up with their state police authorities to use our M-Passport Police app if they have not yet done so, as this can further reduce the time taken for police verification. I congratulate the recipients of Passport Seva Puraskars this year for their outstanding performance and the contribution that they have made to good governance. I am convinced that these awards would encourage others to emulate them to further improve the passport issuance process. I am confident that our passport issuing authorities in India and abroad would continue to deliver passport and other related services in a comfortable environment with wider accessibility, transparency and reliability. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your encouraging address to all of us. I now have the honor to invite the Honorable External Affairs Minister to deliver his keynote address. Sir.
Thank you. Honorable Minister of State, Shri Muralidharan ji, Secretary CPV and OIA, Shri Sanjay Bhattacharya, Additional Secretary PSP, Shri Arun Chatterjee, colleagues, passport officers who have joined in the virtual mode, ladies and gentlemen, very good afternoon. And let me begin by saying how happy I am to address all of you on the occasion of the Passport Seva Diwas, which marks the enactment of the Passport Act. I would like to felicitate all our passport issuing authorities in India and abroad on this occasion. I'm sure you all appreciate that we are meeting under very unique circumstances this year. And let me therefore start really by acknowledging how well all of you have responded to the changing public requirements amidst the coronavirus, and it goes to your credit today that we are able to keep up our services even under these very difficult circumstances. The Passport Seva program is an ambitious mission mode program of our government, which is being successfully operated as a public-private partnership. It is part of the National E-Governance Plan. And what we have really seen is a complete transformation in the passport delivery service, especially over the last 6 years. Our passport issuing authorities in India and abroad have worked very hard over this time period to ensure an efficient and transparent passport delivery system for services in the country and abroad. The success of any project obviously depends on positive attitudes which are backed by supportive policies. That is what we in the ministry have been trying to do. And I would say today, on the occasion of the Passport Seva Diwas, we must commit ourselves to further improving our delivery systems. Friends, to achieve this objective, our first focus will be to further strengthen our outreach efforts as we take passports to the doorstep of every citizen of our country. You all know that in collaboration with the Department of Posts, we embarked on really a very transformational initiative which has allowed us in the last 3 years to open 424 post office passport seva kendras. Out of these, 12 were actually inaugurated in the first 100 days of this government, and I myself, like Muralidharan ji, had the privilege of inaugurating one of the POPSKs. In my case, it was at Rajpipla in Gujarat. Now, you know that we intend to open up a POPSK in every Lok Sabha constituency where no PSK exists today. And we have so far been able to provide for 488 Lok Sabha constituencies. Now, obviously, that process which we were going forward very ambitiously has stopped momentarily on account of the COVID-19 pandemic. But both our ministries are completing the formalities for early inauguration of POPSKs which have already been announced, and I'm sure we will go forward as the lockdown eases up. And again, I would like to acknowledge the Department of Posts as an exemplary partner, and I'm very confident that the kind of partnership that we have forged would be an example to a lot of other parts of the government as well. Now, where our global outreach is concerned, we have, again, everybody has spoken about it, looked at the process of integrating Indian missions and posts abroad into the Passport Seva program. I want to emphasize here that we must have definitive timelines to complete this inauguration of all the missions and posts. So that we have actually a centralized passport issuance system, and people, Indian citizens living abroad, traveling abroad, are benefited by seamless system which we operate. Now, we also need to leverage the use of technology in a bigger and better way for the delivery of passport and related services. We should make full use of all the tools that a much more digital government is today willing to place at our disposal. The M-Passport Seva mobile app, the M-Passport Police mobile app, and the Applying for Passports from Anywhere scheme actually shows us all how well technology can be used in this domain of passport delivery. I think most of you, I don't have to tell you, you are the people who actually get this done, but it is important for people to really appreciate today that M-Passport Seva mobile app, for example, can make a huge difference in terms of how to apply for passports, pay the fees, schedule an appointment, and we have started the process of sending information on appointments through SMSs and emails to applicant, and a lot of people I've met who really find that this makes it so much more convenient for them to follow up on their passport application. We also, the electronic token issuance upon arrival and the electronic exit letter after completion of service are also examples of providing paperless service, protecting the environment, and in a sense of, while implementing Digital India, doing so really in a very green manner. Certainly such seamless processes have not only helped service delivery, but they have reduced public grievances, and I share MOS's point that where there are grievances, and there will always be grievances when it comes to public services, it is again incumbent on us to respond to it more efficiently. I think that is very much the expectation that the public has, particularly of this government. The Applying for Passports from Anywhere scheme has helped applicants to obviously go to any Passport Seva Kendra even if they are not in that jurisdiction, and that again has I think been very, very widely appreciated by the public. We have taken important initiatives in the last few years for the simplification of passport rules, and I think really probably the most notable reform that we have brought about is that those applying for passport under the Tatkal scheme are no longer required to submit a verification certificate from a gazetted officer, and of course self-attested documents are accepted. We have reduced the number of documents and we have eased the passport issuance process for minors by the single parents and for applicants who are separated or divorced. And here the point I wish to emphasize is that real reform is, reform can be about big things, but real reform actually on the ground is about small things. It is about detail, It is about making a difference. Sometimes it can be something very small. But what I want to emphasize today is for the recipient, it means much more than we can ever imagine. Now, we have now commenced sending SMSs to passport holders before the expiry of their passport. And this is again a citizen-friendly initiative and a proactive service delivery measure. These initiatives have been made to benefit citizens. I think citizens know it, they appreciate it. And our focus must be, particularly, I think I would like all of you to think about it today. How do we keep simplifying the rules and processes without compromising the legitimate security concerns? I think this is at the heart of the reforms that we have done, and I think there are still reforms that need to be done in the domain of passport issuance. Now, I really don't need to emphasize the important role that state police authorities play in the timely delivery of passports. I today would like to take the opportunity again to thank them, because this is, again, without their partnership, this process will not move as efficiently as it has. And I would repeat the congratulations. I would add my voice to the congratulations that AMU has extended to states like Andhra Pradesh, Telangana and Haryana, who've done very well in this regard. I congratulate the police authorities of these states in particular, and we would be conferring a certificate of recognition for their outstanding performance last year. Now, the focus of our government has been to increase the use of technology and digitization, and one important step here is the introduction of chip-enabled e-passports, which will, with advanced security features for our nationals. We are working with Indian Security Press Nashik in this regard and with NIC to implement this project. I'm very confident that the introduction of e-passports will greatly strengthen the security of our travel documents, and I understand that the procurement process for its production is currently underway, and again I would emphasize the need to hasten that as much as possible. In that context, I would also like to compliment India Security Press Nashik. They have been continuously taking innovative steps to improve the quality and security features of our passport booklet, and it is, I emphasize, it is necessary to roll out the manufacture of e-passports on a priority basis. Let me also compliment especially the officials of the Central Passport Organization, all our passport officers, our missions and posts abroad, because it is their collective efforts which have today ensured that we've been issuing 1 crore plus passports year after year in the last few years. And I know that you have your own challenges at work, sometimes challenges of personnel, challenges of resources, but I do want today to recognize and commend your diligence, your dedication, your commitment towards public service, and I would say it is really there are many examples of it, but certainly how you have responded to the reopening challenge after the coronavirus is just one more proof of how well all of you have worked together. I must add that in this endeavor we have received, I've recognized already the police authorities, the Department of Posts and the Security Press in Nashik, but I would also like to acknowledge and applaud the cooperation we have received from our service provider, Tata Consultancy Services. They made a very big difference to the issue of passports and in making it a success story. In this connection, I would also like to congratulate the winners of the Passport Seva Puruskars and hope that their performance, their example would serve to generate greater enthusiasm, commitment and encouragement to others. And I look forward to personally handing over the awards at a suitable date, which hopefully we should be able to do. Let me conclude actually by reiterating a point which Secretary CPV and OIA made. There is today widespread recognition in the country and within the government that the passport delivery program is one of the services of the government which has improved beyond recognition, which is today very much appreciated by the average citizen. It is in many ways held out as a model example. So I thank you for all your efforts in making that happen. I congratulate today the team MEA and team CPO in this regard. I'm sure all of you will continue to improve on your performance to meet the higher and higher expectations that people have of us. And once again, I congratulate you on Passport Seva Diwas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your very, very inspiring words. Sir, may I now request Sri Shibash Kabiraj, the head of our passport office in Chandigarh, to propose a vote of thanks.
Honorable External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of State for External Affairs Shri V. Muralidharan Sir, Secretary CPV and OIA Shri Sanjay Bhattacharya Sir, Additional Secretary PSP Shri Arun Chatterjee Sir, my colleague Regional Passport Officers who have joined us by video conferencing today, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not expressing it like wrapping a present and not. It is indeed an honor and great privilege for me to extend a vote of thanks at this special event to celebrate the Passport Seva Diwas. It has been 53 years since the Act was adopted on 24th June 1967. I would like to thank the Honorable External Affairs Minister for taking time out of his extremely busy schedule and delivering his thought-provoking keynote address to us today. Sir, you inspired each one of us and will guide us in delivering passport services in a timely and effective manner. We would like to assure you that we shall put in our best efforts to achieve your vision and the target that you have assigned to us. I would like to State for External Affairs for his encouraging address for all of us. Sir, we have noted your directions and the Central Passport Organization will strive to ensure efficient service delivery to our citizens, which not only work towards reducing but quickly redressing the grievances of our citizens. We are all extremely grateful to Secretary CPV and OIA for his inspiring words and for sharing with us his thoughts on passport delivery mechanisms. I thank our partner and service provider, Tata Consultancy Services, for their valuable support and cooperation to the Ministry in running the Passport Seva program. Our partnership, which is now a decade old, is often described as a role model for public-private partnership projects in the country. This is the first time that we are organizing this special event on a virtual platform. We are extremely grateful to DG NIC and Joint Secretary EG and IT MEA and their professional team members for their excellent cooperation. I would like to thank Joint Secretary XP and his officials for their excellent support that we have received from them, including live streaming through social media. I must thank Joint Secretary Establishment and his dynamic teams for their technical and logistical support for the smooth conduct of this event. I am also thankful to all the RPOs who have participated in this event today. Ladies and gentlemen, before concluding, let me express my sincere gratitude to Additional Secretary PSP Shri Arun Chatterjee Sir for his continuous motivation and support to all of us as a true leader, along with all officials of PSP Division who have worked hard and guided all of us in making this event successful. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So with this, we will bring the special event for this day to a conclusion. Thank you all passport officers for joining us. Thank you all. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Friends, namaskar and good evening. Thank you for joining us for this special briefing. We have with us Secretary West in the Ministry, Mr. Vikas Swarup, ASIO, Mr. Vikram Doraiswamy, and Joint Secretary UNP, Mr. Sanjay Rana. As you know, India was elected as the non-permanent member of the UN Security Council in the elections late last evening. And to brief us on this, I would request Secretary West to give his initial remarks, and thereafter we'll open the floor to questions.
Thank you, Anurag. Friends, wonderful to see you all after a bit of a gap, and I'm happy to be sitting to the right of JSXP and not in JSXP's seat. But I'm sure all of you have seen the news of the elections which took place on the 17th of June to the United Nations Security Council. India was elected with overwhelming support, garnering 184 votes out of 192 to become a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council for the term 2021-2022. India was elected unopposed as we were the sole candidate for the Asia Pacific seat. However, this was made possible because Afghanistan had withdrawn in our favor in 2013, for which we thank the government of Afghanistan. The strong support by the entire UN membership for India's election demonstrates the goodwill that India enjoys in the UN and the confidence that the international community has reposed in India's capability to contribute to the work of the Council. Our two-year term will begin on the 1st of January 2021. This will be the 8th time that India will be serving on the Security Council, bringing with it rich experience and legacy. We look forward to being a voice for all those who are not represented in the Council. As a founding member of the United Nations, India is fully committed to the principles and purposes of the UN Charter. As the world's largest democracy, a major contributor to UN peacekeeping operations, and a strong votary of the rights of developing countries, India will bring its own unique strengths and perspective to the Security Council. We will act as a voice of reason and moderation and a firm believer in respect for international law and peaceful settlement of disputes. In fact, India has all the credentials to serve on the UN Security Council. Our work in the Security Council will be guided by Honorable Prime Minister's call for a reformed multilateralism and the dynamic 5S vision for foreign policy, namely Samman, respect, Samvad, dialogue, Sahyog, cooperation, and Shanti, peace, to create conditions for universal prosperity, Samriddhi. Through this approach, we seek to move towards a new orientation for a reformed multilateral system which can be encapsulated as norms, NORMS. Our External Affairs Minister had already outlined the priorities we have set for ourselves as a member of the UN Security Council. I will briefly reiterate them. Seeking responsible and inclusive solutions, concrete and result-oriented action at the Security Council for an effective response to international terrorism, reformed multilateralism to reflect contemporary realities, a comprehensive approach to peace and security guided by dialogue, mutual respect, commitment to international law, for which we also hope to help streamline UN peacekeeping, and technology with a human touch. The COVID-19 pandemic is perhaps one of the most serious crises this generation has ever faced. We believe that the current crisis offers us new opportunities to seek innovative and inclusive solutions by using multilateralism and international cooperation. It is clear to us that the United Nations, and indeed multilateralism itself, needs to change to reflect contemporary realities and remain effective and credible. As we look forward to celebrating the 75th anniversary of the United Nations and later the 75th anniversary of our own independence in 2022, India's presence in the Security Council will help bring to the world our ethos that the world is one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So this is my opening remark, and now, as I said, I'm open to taking a few questions.
Thank you, sir, for those remarks. We've received a few questions in advance, so I'll go through them. Geeta Mohan from the India Today wants to know, while it's a secret ballot, who are the likely 8 countries who have not voted for India? Would you like to respond to that?
Well, that is your job and not mine. It was a secret ballot, as you all know, and it is not possible for us to speculate on that ballot. But the important thing is focus on the 184. You know, this reflects an almost universal acceptance, the most widespread support possible. And also don't forget that we had the complete endorsement of the Asia Pacific group. We were the only candidate for that sole seat. And I think the number of votes that we have received far exceeded the minimum threshold required. You know, the threshold to become a member of the Security Council is you have to get a 2/3 majority, which is 128 votes. In our case, we not only got the 128 votes, we got many more in excess of that, reaching 184. And I think this was one of the best performances ever by India in a UN Security Council election. So I would leave it at that.
There's a similar question from Akhilesh Suman of Rajya Sabha TV, so I will not read that. Huma Siddiqui from the Financial Times Online wants to know, what is the importance of being a non-permanent member of the UN Security Council? Does it or will it help in becoming a permanent member?
Well, you know, the UN Security Council is the highest body that the international community accepts, charged with the maintenance of international peace and security. Our presence on the Security Council and our performance there over the next 2 years will underscore the value that a country like India brings to the table and reaffirm our credentials to be a permanent member of the UN Security Council. It will be a good measure of the value India can bring to the Council by increasing the representativeness of the Council and building bridges among various groups. It will help the process of making the Council better reflective of contemporary realities. We will, of course, continue to take part in the intergovernmental negotiations in the UN where the matter of UN Security Council reform is being discussed, and we will make efforts for concrete progress in those negotiations.
So Maha Siddiqui from CNN News 18. Her question is, overwhelming support for India at the UNSC elections, but there are some reports in Pak media that after endorsing India last year in Asia Pacific group, they would not vote for India in the final round. Is that correct? Was there any statement from Pakistan permanent representative, because the ballot is a secret one? And if this were the case, do you believe they have politicized the matter by bringing in bilateral relations in a multilateral platform?
You know, unfortunately, this is the kind of behavior we have now been seeing from Pakistan over the past many months and years. They always rake up bilateral issues in multilateral forum. In fact, they have made it almost as a standard norm for their policy. As far as we are concerned, our foreign policy has a much broader canvas. We have a much wider and global focus. And as a member of the UN Security Council, we will be dealing with all those issues which are under the consideration of the Security Council, in line with the priorities that Honorable External Affairs Minister has already outlined.
The next question is from Siddhant Sibbal of WION. How much focus will be cross-border terror for India and passage of the CCIT?
You already heard me, Siddhant, when I outlined the priorities that we will bring to our tenure at the Security Council. And yes, enhancing counter-terrorism action by the UN Security Council is one of the main priorities for us. Earlier also, if you recall, when India was a member of the UN Security Council during 2011-12, we had chaired the United Nations Counter-Terrorism Committee and had brought in the concept of zero tolerance for terrorism. During our coming term, we will work to enhance the global action against terrorism, their supporters and sympathizers, and safe havens by seeking the streamlining of the process of sanctioning of the terrorists and terrorist entities. The process of sanctions also needs to be depoliticized, as there is no justification for any act of terrorism. We will also work for the early finalization of the Comprehensive Convention on International Terrorism, which, as you all know, India had proposed way back in 1996.
There's another question from Siddhant Sibbal. Is UNSC an archaic body which can't bring a statement to on COVID?
Look, COVID-19 is the biggest pandemic, biggest crisis faced by our generation. And in the UN system, it is being dealt mainly by the World Health Organization, which is the key technical body empowered to act as the voice of the global community in this regard. However, at the same time, we have clearly said that the UN system needs reform urgently, and all its bodies, including the WHO and the Security Council, need to be reformed to reflect contemporary realities. This is the reason why Honorable Prime Minister has called for a reformed multilateralism. So the point is not to reject everything, but to see what is there and to make it better.
So Madhurendra from News Nation wants to know what was China's and Pakistan's position on India's election to UNSC.
Madhurendra, this is a question you need to ask China and Pakistan. I'm not their spokesman. You should better ask them. As far as I'm concerned, we had overwhelming support of 184 countries present and voting that day.
Thank you, sir. I understand there are no more follow-up questions, so we can conclude the special briefing. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And we'll resume in 5 minutes with our weekly media briefing. So please stay with us, stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you.